What's going on, guys? First chapter review. Choujin X, chapter 34.4. Or, yeah, I guess point 4. This is the final part to chapter 34, the climax of, I don't know, the Zora arc? I wouldn't really know what to call this arc. God damn. The wind's crazy outside. But I want to talk about how just so much happens in this chapter. Typical Ishida Sui writing here. Not a bad thing, good thing here. I love how everybody just pulled up and you cut to the end of the fight. I'm gonna be honest. I think I wanted this arc to end already. I care more for like Tokyo. I care for the trio more than the side characters, right? This is a again Ishida Sui manga. The protagonist just matters a lot more than everything else going on. He's never gonna waste too much time on anything that's not the protagonist or the deuteragonist. So I appreciate that we just had everybody pull up. We got like a sense, like a little taste of what they can do, and then it just cuts to them dying. And another reason why I like this so much is because the shock, the amount of shock I felt right after just seeing that. I'm like, I got PTSD from Tokyo Ghoul Re. I was like, did she just kill them all? Like, did she win and what? Like, I thought it was over. This was so good though. This whole chapter, I loved all the reveals. This guy dying, the one who's speaking in the panel, I think Ichiro. I have a hard time remembering these names. They introduce a lot of characters. Ichiro just dying. I think that was insane. Ichiro dying is crazy. I didn't think he'd die so soon. Chandra not having his powers. It's like average, just average guy. I can't imagine Chandra without all of that power in the first place. I think he's entertaining because he's always on some psycho smoke Choujin power trip. So I want to see how that goes. Batista. So I'm not. I remember there being a theory around in the community as to Batista being Sondek's brother. Did this chapter confirm it, or was that already a known fact? I can't really remember. I haven't really looked at the Choujin X like Reddit subreddit in a while. If it's confirmed, then that's also that's jaw dropping. But again, it was a widely believed theory. I forgot where the signs even came from. His face is so cool and horrific. Literally looks like kind of reminds me of Furuta because of the hair. The Chimera. That's a hard epithet. I wonder what's gonna happen. You know, the thing about Ishida's work is that you can never really predict it. You can never. The thing about Ishida's work is that there's no point in trying to predict what happens next because you're always caught off guard. Very glad to see that he's back in his element again, even with like the beautiful panels such as this. His storytelling is actually really good currently. I remember it died down during the end of Reed because you can tell he just didn't want to write anymore. But he's found his stride again, and that's really relieving because Ishida is certainly my favorite author. He's the first author that introduced me to like more deep manga. I think I was 13 or 14 when the original Tokyo Ghoul ended. So, and I had just read like Naruto and Shonen Jump property. So when I saw what happened to Kaneki, I could not believe it. I was like, do stories really end like this? And then, he just introduced me to a whole new category of um, properties and media and tragedies. I didn't know what a tragedy was in like manga. I thought it was just all Uzumaki barrages, but that's besides the point. It's really good to see that he's back in his stride. I think I saw a poll or a question somebody had asked like, do you think Ishida Do you think this has a better beginning than the original Tokyo Ghoul? And to that, I say far and away. Absolute. It's not even a competition. You can tell Ishida's writing has improved because this is the beginning, yet it's like some of his best writing. It's certainly better than the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul. I'm gonna be straight up. Even after watching the anime and reading, like, you most people watch the anime and then read the manga because of all the controversy with all the changes. Um, most people, I think most people were saying Choujin X has a better beginning, obviously because Ishida's older. But this, I always found the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul to be a little bit boring in the manga. I just didn't find too many of the writing to be interesting. I thought it was slow, and I didn't like the art either. It was hard for me to follow things. I mean, it still is to this day, and it hasn't changed that much, but it's changed a lot. But it's still difficult to follow some of the fight choreography in these series. Even so, I still love them. You really understand the character so easily because of how he writes. Focusing on the chapter now, the trio seems to be okay, and Tokyo wants to drop out and focus on being a Trojan, like protector. Part of I forgot what the organization is called. It's kind of hard to keep up when the it's hard to remember a lot of the names in this series. I mean, with how the releases are now, I'll most likely be able to remember most of them. But earlier, it was like one chapter, and then you waited a month for another chapter, and then there was even a time when like this dude missed the whole month to drop a chapter. You forget the story a lot when these series are monthly. But he seems to be dropping on a more consistent schedule now. I'm also, I mean, last chapter, I don't, last chapter's where you'd be impressed with this guy initially, but I'm still impressed with how powerful he is. His face, his face in this panel is like, oh my god, he's so intimidating, and then Zoro's even more intimidating. All those characters really just died. Like, that's just Tokyo Ghoul stuff right there. That sums up most of my initial thoughts on the chapter. I think it was really good. I think it was a really strong climax. Just seeing all the dead bodies after the fight is so crazy to me. I'm happy the trio got away. I when I first saw this panel, I had thought that the trio got caught. So I was like, oh my god, like one, I was like worried for the characters genuinely, and two, I was like, no way, we about to go back into that place. But it's yeah, that sums it up. I really enjoyed the chapter. I thought it was great. Ishida really can't miss. Always putting in good work. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Thank you for listening.